In this video, we're going to do ionic nomenclature practice number 3. So you're going to need your periodic table and your polyatomic list because now we're going to deal with the polyatomics on here. So make sure you have that handy. Okay, so again, we're going to recap on our periodic table. Okay, our charges, we have 0 over here, then -1, -2, -3, plus or minus 4, plus 3, plus 2, and then plus 1. Okay, then silver is going to be, so Ag is +1, and then zinc is +2, and then aluminum is +3. And then everything else from basically 3b to the staircase is going to be considered a transition metal, so it will need a Roman numeral. So we're going to do the same thing as we've been doing. We're going to be doing the pieces, the cation and the anion, the formula once you bring those together, and then the chemical name. Okay, so again, you need your polyatomic list handy. Okay, so if you need to get that, go ahead and do so. I do not have one on this video, so I'm just going to refer to it. So I'm going to take a look at my cation and anion. So I have Rb with a +1, and then that is actually perchlorate. So ClO4 is perchlorate with a -1. And I'm going to see that they're balanced. All I have to do is put those together. So it's going to be RbClO4. Okay, so that is my chemical formula. Now I'm going to come up here, I'm going to check my Rb, so Rb is right here. I can see that is in group 1, so that means I don't need a Roman numeral. Okay, so I'm just going to write rubidium. And then ClO4 is perchlorate. So again, you have to know those polyatomics. Okay, so if you need help with memorizing, refer back to that video I made over help with memorizing those polyatomics. Okay. My next one, I have CaOH in parentheses with a 2. Now, I usually like to look at my anions first because you can usually just do your anions first and then go everywhere from there. So OH is going to be on your polyatomics, so that is going to be OH with a -1 charge. Okay, and then you can also just look up calcium on your periodic table. Calcium is not one of my transition metals, so that means it's always going to be a +2 charge. Okay, so there's your cation and anion. Now, when I write out my name, I would say that calcium, so we're not going to change the name of calcium. You'd never change the name of your cation. You can see it's up here. It's in group 2, so it does not fall under that transition metal group, meaning it does not need a Roman numeral. So you're just going to write calcium hydroxide. Now, I have lead 4 phosphate. They gave me the name of lead 4 phosphate. So again, this 4 tells me the charge of lead. And lead is Pb, so it's going to be Pb +4. And then phosphate is on your polyatomic list. That is going to be PO4 with a -3. So I can see that they're not balanced. So I'm going to do is I'm going to crisscross. So you take the 4 over to the phosphate and then the 3 over to the lead. So that means I need 3 Pbs. And if I need 4 phosphates, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that phosphate in parentheses first. So don't alter those ever. And then I can put a 4 on the outside of that. So that would be my correct balance formula. Then I have MgCrO4. Okay, so magnesium. So Mg is magnesium. That is going to be in group 2. So that's going to be Mg with a +2. And then CrO4 is chromate. That is on your polyatomic list. That is CrO4 with a -2. So that's why if you look, they're already balanced. So that's why there's only one of each. Okay, and then we're going to write out our name. So this would be magnesium. And magnesium is in group 2, so it does not need a Roman numeral, so this would just be magnesium chromate. Now we have lithium, so Li with a +1 and CO3 with a -2. I can see that those are, let me fix that. I wrote 2 pluses. That's a +1. So Li +1, CO3 with a -2, that those are not balanced, so I'm going to crisscross, so that means I need 2 lithiums, and I only need 1 carbonate. Okay, so lithium is in group 1, meaning it does not need a Roman numeral. So you're just going to write out lithium. And then CO3 is carbonate. Okay, my next one I have Ca +2 and then NO2 with a -1. So I can see those are not balanced. So I'm going to do my crisscross. So I only need 1 calcium. And I need 2 so I need 2 of these NO2s. So I'm going to put NO2 in parentheses. And then I'm going to put a 2 outside of that. Now, Ca is calcium, and it is not one of my transition metals, so I don't need a Roman numeral. And if you know that NO3 is nitrate. NO2 would be nitrite. Okay, so again, there is a big difference between nitrite and nitride. Okay, so I can write that up here. So nitrite would be NO2 with a -1. Nitride would just be N minus self. So this is ITE. And then N by itself would just be IDE. Okay, so next one, I have NH4 with a, and then an I. So NH4 is actually a polyatomic. That is, if you look on your polyatomic list, that is called ammonium. So that is NH4 with a +1 charge. And then iodine is in group 7A, so that's going to be I with a -1 charge. Now when I want to write out my name, it is simply ammonium iodide. Okay, RB2SO3, so RB2, so I'm going to look up here at periodic table. So RB, we already circled that one, is number 37. That is going to be RB with a +1. And if you look up SO3, that is on your polyatomic list. Okay, that is going to be SO3 with a -2. Okay, so you could have done reverse crisscross. Just be careful in reverse crisscross because remember this 3 does not go anywhere. So you cannot take this 3 up here. So do not touch anything that's a part of that polyatomic. Okay, if there was a number with it, it would look like this. It would look like parentheses, and then there would be a number with it. Okay, so unless there's a parentheses, do not touch that number at all. So I would take the 2 up to here, and that means there's technically one of these SO3, so you would take the 1 up here. Okay, so now I'm going to do my name. So rubidium is not one of my transition metals, so I don't need a Roman numeral. So this is going to be rubidium. Oops, if I can spell. Rubidium, and SO3 is sulfite. Okay, my next one is aluminum carbonate. So aluminum is on my periodic table list. It is one of my 3 that's always the same. So it's going to be Al with a +3. And then carbonate is on your polyatomic list. That is CO3 with a -2. Okay, so I can see that those are not balanced. So you're going to crisscross. So that means this is going to be Al2. And then I need 3 of these carbonates. So I'm going to put CO3 in parentheses and then put a 3 down here. And there's your answer there. Okay, I'm going to do a few more and then we'll go to the back section. So I have Ag with a +1 charge. And then I actually have the Cr2O7 with a -2 charge. So I can see that this is not balanced. So crisscross. So I need 2 Ags to balance out with that 1 Cr2O7. Okay, so I'm going to look up my name. So silver is one of those 3 that it never changes, so I don't need a Roman numeral. So I'm just going to write silver. Okay, and Cr2O7 is on your polyatomic list. That is dichromate. So again, when it comes to the quizzes and tests, if you don't know your polyatomic list, I mean, you're just going to kind of be swimming around in the dark on that one. Okay, LiClO4. Okay, so I'm going to split them up. I would look up lithium on the periodic table. That is Li with a +1. And ClO4 is on your polyatomic list. So that's ClO4 with a -1. Now lithium, so Li is lithium. It is not one of my transition metals, so I don't need a Roman numeral. Okay, and then ClO4 is actually perchlorate. And there's my answer there. Okay, one more and we'll go to the back side. So nickel 2 sulfide. So nickel 2, so that tells me the charge of nickel, so that's Ni with a +2. And sulfide, so it's IDE, that means it's just sulfur by itself. Okay, so if you see IDE, that means it's just the element by itself. It's the 8s and ites that you're dealing with oxygen. So this is sulfur, and you would look up sulfur on the periodic table. That has a charge of -2. Okay, so if I look at the formulas, I can tell that they are already balanced. I'm sorry, the cation and the anion, they're already balanced, so all I got to do is put them together. So NiS. Okay, so now let's go over here. So we're going to write out the ions and the formulas for the names. So potassium chromate, so potassium is K with a +1. And then chromate is on your list. That is CrO4 with a -2. Okay, so I'm going to see that they are not balanced. So I'm going to crisscross. So this would be K2CrO4. So here's my cation. here's my anion, and then here is my formula. Okay, strontium nitrate. So strontium is in group 2, that is going to be SR with a +2, and nitrate is NO3 with a -1. So those are not balanced, so I'm going to balance those out. So I'm going to crisscross, so I only need 1 strontium, but I need 2 nitrates. So I'm going to put nitrate in parentheses first, and then I'm going to put the 2 right here. So there's my cation, my anion, and then there is my formula. Ammonium sulfite. So ammonium is going to be on your polyatomic list. So again, if you're having trouble finding something on your periodic table, always check your polyatomic list first and then look on the periodic table. So ammonium is NH4 with a +1, and then sulfite is actually SO3 with a -2. Okay, so I'm going to see that those are balanced, so I need 2 ammoniums. So you're going to write NH4 in parentheses, and I need 2 of them, and I only need 1 sulfite, so SO3. So here's my cation, my anion, and then here is my formula. Okay, so one more, and then we'll go to the next section. I have aluminum hydroxide. So aluminum is Al with a +3. Hydroxide is OH with a -1. That's on your polyatomic list. So those are not balanced. So I only need 1 aluminum, but I need 3 of these hydroxides. So I'm going to put hydroxide in parentheses and then put a 3. So there's my cation, my anion, and then here is my formula. All right, part B is now I have to name the following compounds. So I have NH4, 3N. So NH4 is ammonium, that is on your polyatomic list. Ammonium is not a transition metal, so I don't need your Roman numerals. Okay, and then N by itself, this is nitride. So again, if it's just the element, it ends in IDE. Okay, then the next one I have Ca, ClO2, so Ca is calcium. It is not a transition metal, so I don't need a Roman numeral. And ClO2 is actually chlorite. All right, NH4, HCO3. So this looks like a long one, but if you break this up, if you look on your polyatomic list, it actually breaks into 2 pieces. Okay, so NH4 is ammonium, and then HCO3 is actually called bicarbonate. Okay, BeSO4, so Be is beryllium. And then SO4 is sulfate. Okay, so beryllium is not a transition metal, so I do not need a Roman numeral. So let's jump over one where we do. So we're going to do number 18. So Pb +3, and then PO4 with a 4. Okay, so if you look up PO4 on your periodic table, it has a charge of -3. So that means the crisscross would work. If I take the 3 up here, it would be a -3. And if I take this 4 up here, it would be a +4. Okay, the reason why I did that is because lead is a transition metal. So you cannot just write lead phosphate. You have to tell me the charge of that lead. So you're going to write lead 4, which is IV. Then you can write phosphate. Okay, so that pretty much sums up all the namings for monatomic, polyatomics using transition metals. Okay, so feel free to use these, watch these as many times as you need to kind of help you out, and then let us know if you have questions.